We are the painters of our world. We are creators. We decide what goes.
Welcome to Season 3 of the Educate Elevate podcast. My name is Dr. Abdimalik Buul, and today we're jumping headfirst into one of the most transformative topics of our time, artificial intelligence, or as you may know it, AI. Now listen, I know for a lot of folks, AI might sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Robots, algorithms, talking computers. But AI is real, and it's already woven into the world around you, whether you're using your phone, scrolling social media, or applying for a job. Here's the thing though, it's not just about technology, it's about opportunity. And that's why today's episode is so important, because California's community colleges are stepping up in a big way to make sure you aren't just watching this AI revolution happen, we're preparing you to lead it. Through groundbreaking efforts from the Chancellor's Office, California's community colleges are reimagining what education looks like in the age of AI. And just as importantly, we're doing so with a clear mission, making AI accessible to all and using it as a tool to eliminate equity gaps, not expanding them. At California's community colleges, we're not just preparing students to use AI, we're teaching them to think critically about it, to understand the ethics, to ask the hard questions, and to step into the workforce ready to innovate responsibly. Our AI initiatives are about workforce development, yes, but also about empowerment. They're about making sure our students aren't just trained for today's jobs, but tomorrow's as well. We're joined today by a panel of leaders and educators who are on the front lines of exploring how AI intersects with education, equity, and opportunity. Each brings a unique perspective from statewide strategy and campus leadership to classroom innovation and workforce training. Together, they'll be guiding today's conversation and helping us think about how AI can empower students and communities while ensuring no one is left behind in this new era. First up, Don Daves-Rougeau, Senior Advisor at the California Community College's Chancellor's Office. He's driving statewide efforts to bring generative AI into classrooms and workforce training, always with equity and student success at the core. Next, Dr. Jacqueline Hester, Dean of Public Safety at San Diego Miramar College and AI Fellow with the Chancellor's Office. She's advancing AI in teaching and workforce training to make sure underrepresented students aren't left behind, but leading the way. Our next panelist, Don L. Lane, has built his career using technology to expand opportunity. Also an AI Fellow, he sees AI as the capstone of IT, a tool to break down barriers and prepare students and educators for the future of work. Fabiola Torres, also an AI Fellow, is an ethnic studies professor at Glendale Community College. For over 2 decades, she's championed inclusive learning, and today she's pushing AI to deliver on its promise of accessibility and equity for all students. And finally, we're joined by Christopher Ruiz, a Navy veteran, father of 4, and student leader at San Diego Miramar College. As a statewide student advocate, he continues to champion equity and representation, and he brings important insights into how AI can both empower students and challenge us to confront bias. We'll start with you, Don. How do you see AI as transforming the way community colleges teach, support, and prepare students for the future?
Well, thank you, Dr. Bull. That's a really important question as we approach this big challenge of AI in our system. I'd say there are 3 specific areas that we can work on in that regard. The first is process over outcome, as we think about how we are delivering instruction and then how we're assessing the instruction in our classrooms. The second one, I think, is personalized learning. So given that we're the largest public higher education system in the country, arguably the most diverse, it's really important for our learners to feel a sense of connection to the content in the classrooms. And the third piece is skills development. So are we preparing students with the types of transferable, real-time relevant skill sets that are necessary for them to go into a job market that's ever-changing? As academicians, we speak at this level. We don't always bring it to the level of comprehension of where our students are so that we can get them to the level that we are. So we have to provide the AI tools that allow them at home or wherever they are studying to be able to simplify the language, contextualize it, and then gain command of it and apply it in the classroom.
That theory to practice is so critical. The adaptability around that, like how do you not speak in a very theoretical aspect, very practical, everyday person can understand. Jacqueline, Welcome to the conversation.
I look at it from three perspectives. I'm looking at it from a social equity, workforce equity, and AI readiness. Data shows 92% of jobs within the U.S. require you to have digital literacy as well as those skills. So are we really making a great impact to our students? Are we doing what's in the best interest of them to make sure they can come to our community college, get a career that's valuable, and then also have impact on their families by going into lucrative careers that ultimately will impact generations to come? And I think we've been doing a great job, but I think the challenge is how do we begin to move forward and do a better job considering how fast technology and AI is moving?
Christopher, have you used any of these AI tools, or is there any experience that you'd like to share with us, positive, negative, or indifferent?
On the record or off the record? No, of course, the certain tools of AI does help me. And things like ChatGPT, when I have a list of emails from different students. And just full context is that I am the vice chair of 10 different schools in my region. And so I want to be there and available for all of them. ChatGPT, I feel, helps me. And as you said, it's kind of like a scaffolding. Yes, I know what to say. Yes, I know what to convey for emotions, but I don't want it to come off as if it came from AI. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to meet with the students on a human level, trying to connect with them. And then if it comes to that, then yes, I will use ChatGPT or something like that to correct errors and things like that.
And I want to tap Fabiola into this because the humanizing aspect is important. You've led efforts to humanize online learning. And so how can we utilize AI to be more integrated, particularly on disability justice?
Yes.
Can you expand on that?
So it frees up time for me to be more human with my students. It frees up more time for me to, check in with students. In humanized online education, we learn how to use pre-surveys to get to know the student. So if I go back to my analog notes and I see that Patricia has a dog that was sick and she's sad about it, and that's why she was late in one assignment, I can go back and be like, hey, how's your dog? And they'll be like, whoa, she's fine. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that these are my pictures of my dogs. And boom, I share them my doggies. So it gives us that ability to still be human with the student.
Just making this culturally responsive pedagogy around AI. Donald, can you also expand a little bit more on just justice impact to students and disproportionately marginalized populations in AI?
When you talk about justice-involved students, a lot of the times it feels like life is over. Like once you become justice-involved, like you're questioning what's my future going to look like, right? And one of the things that AI allows for is independence. And so when we're talking about like justice-impacted students or people, right? The ability to move into the future with the skill sets without receiving bias, without receiving someone looking down on you, without someone talking to you in a certain way because they believe you're from a certain background and you don't understand certain things. That's where AI can step in between that, right? In between that process and give you what you need to keep moving forward. You can leverage AI as scaffolding to hold you up until you are strong enough to continue to move forward in the new world that we're turning into, that we're transitioning into.
Jacqueline, as a community college leader, what role should the California community colleges be playing in this to ensure that we don't fall behind and we're leaders in this, both for our faculty and administrators as well as our students?
I think we're doing it now. I know we're dismantling systems that normalize, some of the things that we see with our students, but we're championing that. I think if we can really, because it really starts in the classroom, right? So how do we really galvanize and have our faculty on board with this, right? And not just in CTE programs, but from our English, from our STEM programs. I think if a student can have AI or learn some points of AI in each class that they have, imagine the skill set they'll have when they go into year 2, right? So I believe that this is an opportunity for us to prepare our students to the next level, but even for our students who are underrepresented, imagine being able to use this tool in each of our classes. And particularly what I do see with our Black and Brown students, the hardest 3 things to get over is really building trust, credibility, and rapport. So how do I leverage AI with this? I know some of the things that they experience. Let's address it head on. How do I begin to really leverage this, but take it to the next step when I'm talking about pretension and persistence?
Don, and as the largest system of higher education, 116 community colleges, 73 plus districts, what are some of the partnerships that we're preparing our students and the workforce needs with AI?
Almost a year ago now, we signed an MOU with NVIDIA through the governor's partnership, through the governor's office. Just a couple of weeks ago, we signed similar MOUs with Microsoft, Adobe, Google, and IBM. There are other partners out there, the nonprofit partners such as PlayLab and Nectar AI and AI EDU and others that are really interested and anxious to partner with us now that they see the potential for scale, scope, and impact, but also that equity question. And in order for us to do this effectively, though, we have to take a distributed leadership model, which is to suggest that we aren't driving everything from the chancellor's office. Our role is to curate the resources and function as a steward of those resources and push them out to our districts and to our colleges to provide the kinds of professional development for faculty, to have faculty become champions and leaders in their areas of discipline, particularly to bring along those faculty who might be resistant and to ensure that there's consistent AI policy across a single discipline. We can't have one English faculty who has an AI-enabled classroom and is allowing students to fully embrace an AI, and others who are limiting a student's access to that. And it certainly, we want consistency as best we can with local flavor, local control, but some level of consistency and predictability for our students across our system, across our districts, across our colleges, and certainly not within a single department having different policies around the utilization of this tool. So these partnerships have been phenomenal and positioning us to be a driver nationally, globally.
I want to tap you and Fabiola on this piece. There's imagination and innovation here, but with everything new, there's always this fear, and it's the fear of the unknown. And can you expand a little bit about some of the faculty, as Don mentioned, little inconsistencies? There's folks telling Christopher, all tools at your disposal, and Sim saying, no, this is cheating, plagiarism, so on and so forth. So can you talk to us about the professional development and some of the, opportunities for us to overcome some of these challenges?
Yes, it's scary because I think that faculty feel that they're going to be replaced. Faculty are slowly, I'm going to be optimistic, they're slowly realizing how to coexist with AI. They still want to have that original thought from students. But there's a philosophical argument to be said about that. What is original work? What does that really mean? And so we're at that stage where we're having these conversations. Yet, as we're preparing for the jobs of the future, we're also preparing the teaching of the future.
And Fabi, you're one of our leaders in our system with our partnership with Dreamscape Learn, right? So tell us a little bit about.
It all came from a crazy idea of just saying, if a student cannot go to Italy for study abroad because probably they can't, it's more expensive, why not bring Italy to them? And so that's how I wanted to bring study abroad, where we take the students to the world without ever having to leave, their classroom. And maybe that'll just give them the enough incentive to be that original thinker so that they can get that strong grade, so that they can travel.
Because I think AI, it gives us a platform to reimagine education. But even for the student, to reimagine what learning looks like. And I think for students, I know a lot of times some of the fear is, am I smart enough? And what I kind of have conversations with students now is that you're smart enough, you belong, and you matter. And if not you, then who? You're the next generation, right? And so we don't advocate and really advocate for these students or next to come, then what are we leaving behind? What legacy are we leaving behind? I think we say it best in Sankofa, to go back and to get. So I think we all have a responsibility, not only to ourselves, but our students, our communities that we serve, to make sure that this information is getting out, but it's also we're making a better place and a better community for our students and the people that we serve.
I went through actually a hard time during the summer. I had to take statistics, and I can barely say the word because it's such much PTSD. It was just at a certain point in time where I I just wanted to give up, really, because the teacher, she was not very responsive. Again, it's during the summer, and it was just a certain subject that I wasn't quite sticking to me. After I'm a non-traditional student, but it just wasn't quite sticking. And I'm like, I'm trying everything. I'm, researching it. I'm trying to look at the book, and it just wasn't, getting to me. And especially with life happening, I was taking care of my nieces and nephews. I'm in a mixed status family. And so with all these different things going on and around the world, it was just felt like a lot. I can attest to saying that, what, AI, let me delve into it. Let me see what it could do, and it broke down the problems in a way that I didn't even think about, and then the teacher didn't even explain. And that's what the powerful thing is that, wow, I'm trying to look at it from different ways and views, and I grew up as a person, I'm older generation, and, it's sit down, be quiet, listen to the teacher and do what you're supposed to in class, but I'm doing that and I'm coming at it a different way. And so when I finally used AI, it broke down the problem so well enough that I'm like, oh, I got this.
So those students who are getting conflicting messages, don't use it, stay away from it, don't get near like a 10-foot pole, or utilize it, fully immerse yourself in it. What advice do you have for that student?
I would say just really be open to have a conversation with the faculty member. I think we really need to humanize individuals in this workspace, right? We get so caught up into titles. You can say, hey, I really want to talk with you about AI and how maybe some ways I use it to leverage that would make me a better student in your class. But one of the things that we're doing at Miramar College and it's actually led by one of our faculty members, Rodriguez, is to have a community of practice where we're bringing all the faculty together from different disciplines and listening to their concerns, as well as thinking about holistically, how can we leverage AI, whatever discipline you're in the classroom, and what are some ground rules that we can come up with to make sure that students stay within these boundaries or these things that we have in our core syllabus, and make sure students can stay within this to make sure they're not in the discipline office for academic integrity or plagiarism, right? Because it's here, right?
So Don, it's inevitable that AI is going to impact every potential job in the future. Can you give us some concrete examples of just the impact or the integration of AI efforts into jobs?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be tremendous. You think about HVAC maintenance. AI can do monitoring of HVAC systems. It can do predictive analytics to determine whether or not there's a weakness in a system or a part of that system is about to break down. The repair person can go in with goggles or some other type of smart glasses, for example, and identify that spot in the system. And then the manual can pop up right in front of them and voice to instruction, find the page or the portion of the manual that describes how to repair that piece of the system. So that speeds up call times and response times for folks to be able to go in to repair the things that are necessary. So your system is not failing the one day out of the year. It's 100 degrees, right, in San Francisco. Welding.
Yeah.
Imagine I was in Montana last week and talking to my airport steward, and he was saying, yeah, I'm going into welding. I said, oh, have you ever done underwater welding? He's like, oh, no. I was like, you should, because you can take scuba diving, you can go on vacations and scuba dive, but while you're not vacationing, you can literally use AI tools to do underwater welding analysis. So when you dive, now you have the knowledge that you need, and you're not spending all that inordinate time down there trying to analyze the problem. But you can, it's similar with HVAC, right? Now you can pull up through the smart lenses, pull up the manuals, do the repair, and then swim around and look for exotic fish.
And so my thing is that, better equipping us, as Dean Hester said, better equipping us, getting us solidified for the future, just helps generations to come. It doesn't just stop at my family, your family, black and brown, generations of many colors to come.
Yeah, I think, one of the really essential parts of our partnerships with firms like Google, for example, is that they're able to offer us their data analytics curriculum. And we're going to footprint that across all 115 brick and mortar colleges, and it will allow our students after a 2-year program to be skilled in and earn a certificate in data analytics. And that can lead into a job in any of the major tech firms. I think it's those types of opportunities that are going to be transformative for young people and their families. Another example of this is we are, through a generous sponsorship from Salesforce, we are starting to integrate AI certifications into our nursing apprenticeship programs. And so we're finding that that's a resource that can also then be applied across multiple industry sectors. Dean Hester's doing something very similar in the public safety space. And again, by integrating AI into those career pathways, it makes our students that much more hireable. Well, I don't know if that's really a word or not, but
Workforce ready.
Workforce ready, thank you. Makes them much more workforce ready and likely to be provided some type of occupational opportunity upon graduation. So tremendous opportunity in there, and we're going to continue to seek more and more of those. We have 3 of our 13 AI fellows here who are driving that work on behalf of the system, along with some change makers and AI ambassadors, faculty who are coming to do research residencies at the Digital Center for Innovation, Transformation, and Equity. And so we want to get into research, we want to get into application so that we make sure we're cutting edge in the work that we're doing, and we're in the field, on the ground, providing those pathway opportunities for careers to our students.
And all of this is brought to you by the California Community College System.
All of this brought to you by the California Community College System.
Thank you all for the great discussion today. We're going to have to pause it right there. I really want to thank each of our panel members for their fantastic discussion we've had today. AI isn't just changing the future, it's changing the now. And California's community colleges are making sure you're ready. What we heard today isn't just about tools or technology, it's about people. It's about power. It's about leveling the playing field and making sure that our students, especially those who've been left out of the conversation before, are now front and center. AI isn't just the future, it's the present. And California's community colleges are leading the way responsibly, equitably, and with purpose. There's so much more to unpack, so much more we want to share with you. So don't miss our next episode as we dig deeper into how AI is reshaping not just our classrooms, but our communities and career opportunities statewide. And if today's episode sparked something in you, if it made you curious or fired you up, go to icangotocollege.com. Click on the Black and African American Student Success tab to explore programs to support communities like Emoja and Amen, financial aid options, and more. We're not just talking about the future, we're building it with you. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and remember to educate is to elevate.
We are the painters of our world. We are creators. We decide what goes.